Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is David Parsons. I've done a few videos of different things over the last 2 years. I'm nobody special, no celebrity, got no status whatsoever. In fact, I'm currently out of work after spending the last 2 years looking after people, including myself, with mental health, and also caring for my mother, who sadly died last November. And now looking after my nearly 100-year-old father with my two brothers, Michael and Robert. Anyway, the reason why I've decided to do this is because I just want to get my point of view over of what is going on. What a fucked up world we live in now. I just don't get it anymore. I really don't. What's going on now in this crazy world of ours is frightening. I've traveled a bit over the years, not as much as I'd like to, but the places I've been to, we got such a beautiful world, but mankind just seems to want to fuck everything up just to suit his short-term needs and couldn't give a damn about 90% of us or 95% of us. So I'm going to go over quite a few things, and I'm a little bit of like to joke a lot and stuff, and I'm going to try and put a little bit of a funny spin on all this shit that's going on. I mean, there's so much to talk about. Particularly where I live in the valleys. Great Britain might have been a fantastic country at one time. What I see around me now is a fucking waste ground. Great Britain is no longer the country it certainly was, even though this government keeps pouring money every time a war comes up and they side with America. They keep pouring more and more money in, no matter who got to pay for it, which is usually us. Just to keep its statusship that it's still this great country. It's not Great Britain. It's not United Kingdom. Since this pandemic started back nearly 2 years ago, each country, Scotland, Ireland and Wales and Northern Ireland, have all been told to do their own thing. The government, if you can call them that, has got their built-in excuses for why that happens, but in a time where we're at risk more than certainly in my lifetime, instead of the world coming together as one big unit and fighting us, each country and our countries in the so-called United Kingdom has decided to do its own thing, which makes me feel very, very suspicious about everything that's going on. Because if this was a genuine situation that was of no fault of anybody's, I'm pretty positive that the great powers, the intelligent people of the world, would come together and say, well, we've got to deal with this all together, and all these lockdowns should be done at once. As the famous saying goes, united we stand, divided we fall. Yeah, well, this country's fucking falling, falling fast. I left school in 1989 with no qualifications. I had enough sense. I got a fair bit of common sense, even though I got no qualifications. But I had enough sense to know that living in a poor area of Britain, and there's lots of poor areas in Britain outside of London. I am a person who had enough sense to know that I wasn't going to get far in life living in a poor area with no qualifications. And this, after 32 years of working in shitty, poor little jobs, putting up all sorts of shit, working in care homes and having to fight them because of the way they treat people. I am now out of work, now struggling with mental health. I got ADHD, dyslexia, you name it, I got it. I'm seriously overweight. I look like a fucked up person ready for my knacker's yard. But I got my mind, my mental ability, even though I suffer with mental health, I'm still got the whereabouts to know exactly what's going on and what's to come. I went bankrupt back in the summer. I've been living off of loans all my working life to keep me afloat, living in and working in poor conditions and poor paid jobs. And that come full circle and hit me right across the head back in the summer. And virtually now I got nothing to lose. And this is why I'm happy to do this kind of shit. If only one person listens to me, even if I'm talking to myself, which I often fucking do anyway, well, so be it. I have spent my whole working life watching Britain shut down. We got a famous saying that's become popular over the last few years that they used to say back in the 1930s and 40s, and that is, keep calm and carry on. And that seems to be what Britain's doing now. They always seem to shut their eyes and just pretend that all the problems of this country will somehow come right and disappear. It's not fucking happening. This virus will take us into a new era. I call it Britain and the world's version of the Dark Ages. Yeah, we're going into medieval times, without a shadow of a doubt. All we want is people sat around on horses with fucking knives, swords, and bows and arrows, and, of course, shields. This is what we're heading for. No good news, just only bad. And the great Sky News and BBC, they are flying the flag for everybody who want dumb down people, frighten people into compliance of everything that's going on that this fucking government is doing right now. This circus for Boris the Krusty the Clown Johnson, Bojo. Fucking idiot. Heavy industry gone. My father worked on the pit 46 years of his life. His heart and soul into it, had a job for life. There are no jobs for life now. Even the super great people with all the PhDs and all the high qualifications are now starting to feel the pinch of what is going on by the super elite powers, the likes of your Rockefellers and your Rothschilds and all Bill Gates and this fucking idiot in Africa that's sending up ships into outer space. When we're talking about how bad the environment is. Yeah, send satellites into outer space. That'll help the environment. Yeah. The famous sayings all come into play in this situation. There's one rule for one, one rule for the other. All these little buzz sayings, social distancing, keep to your bubble. What's sociable about distancing? Human beings have always been sociable. 90% of us anyway. Social distancing, what an hypocritical saying that these people, that these pricks have invented. And believe me when I say this, it's not my opinion, they are pricks. If Boris Johnson is the best to come out of Eton, the elite, one of the biggest elite schools in the world, yet alone in this country, then I'm glad to leave school with no qualifications and suffer with dyslexia, because I tell you what now, this man is from another fucking planet. This man is absolutely, he's insane in the fucking membrane. He is bonkers, as Dizzy Rascal would say. Heavy industry gone. Steelworks shut. Heavy industry gone. I've spent 32 years of my working life watching pubs shut, bar shut, nightclubs shut, week in, week out. And they're saying it's for the greater good. They turn around and saying when they're promoting big companies like Apple, like Google, like Amazon, who are paying nothing in interest and nothing in taxes, but are making money, not billions, trillions of pounds and dollars on our backs. And they're the ones that seems to be thriving, where little pubs, the little people will put their heart and souls into something they believe in, open up a business to try and make a profit, to try and make a living and employ a few people and give us entertainment on a Friday and Saturday night where we work 60, 70 hours a week and we deserve a Saturday night out and we want to go and see a live band and want to go to a nightclub or want to just go for a quiet drink with our friends and catch up. No, they don't want that. The other people, that's only for them. The people that sip champagne and have their lovely glasses of old Prosecco, they know that common people can, slower class people can now buy cheap versions of. Yeah, it's okay for them. They're the ones that are entitled to that. Us low lives, us little scum people, people like myself who are gutter people, or mutants that you see in these sci-fi horror films that come out in the 1970s and 80s. We don't deserve nothing. Our luxury is sleeping. That's our, and we need to be lucky we can sleep. This is what we're going into. Robots are coming in. Artificial intelligence is coming in. Now, when artificial intelligence of robots in the next 20, 25 years take over everything, what is 3, 4, 5 billion people going to do for jobs? This is where cow, or as the Americans say, called trimming the fat. getting rid of the accessible, the expendables, the people that basically do not mean nothing to these higher up people. People who they look upon as nothing but scum and a waste of time. I might be to them a waste of time, but to myself, I am proud of who I am, and I feel I am better than any of them fucking people, no matter how many millions and fancy cars and big mansions, 100 room houses that they live in. I could sleep or be on the streets or be sleeping in a tent, and I still think I'm better than them, because I got one thing that they never have. I got humility. I got enough sense to know what's right and wrong, and I look around me and I see lots of wrong. I'm sure in the Bible somewhere. Now, I'm not a religious person. I believe that religion is religion and politics is what's going to destroy this world, and I think I've got a pretty viable opinion on that, because it's happening now. In the Bible, somewhere it says when there's unbalance in the world, where evil seems to be overpowering the good, that's when the judgment day is on its way, where the rapture is going to happen, where the second coming with God is. On YouTube, now YouTube's supposed to be a channel where they search for all the stuff that they think is not real and shouldn't be said, and get rid of that and ban that sort of stuff. And yet I'm seeing videos all the time where people are hearing trumpets in the sky and believe that it could be Gabriel blowing the horn as a sound to say that Jesus Christ, our Savior, is on his way. Especially at this great time of year, Christmas coming, and the goose is getting fat. Santa Claus won't go down his chimney because he got fucking COVID. All this is going on. So if you're religious, or if you like me, you're sitting down looking at what's kicking off around the world, particularly what's happening in places like Austria and Australia. What's going on out in Australia? There's a crime on a massive scale. What they're doing out there, I just fucking do not know what the end game is for these people. But if I was to go tomorrow, I'm lucky. I've lived beyond my lifespan. 48 years of age, I could have died 15 times over, and I've lived probably beyond any in my lifespan. So if I was to go tomorrow, I'm happy to go, because I don't want to live in this fucked up world that we're living in now, with control and do as you're told. I've spent the last 30 years of my life seeing the little bit of freedom that we've been given slip very much away. And this government now, and all governments of the world, are going in for the big push now to do what they intend to do for the next, for our new future. We've been dragged into an all new world. Somebody asked me recently what I thought of everything, and I said the only way I can describe it is like some unknown entity, some force have grabbed hold of this world with its big entity hands and have shocked the world to its core. Everything that used to make sense no longer makes sense. You've got men now wanting to be women, got no problem with that. Women wanting to be men, got no problem with that. But I draw the fucking line where you've got people that say, I don't want to be called a man, or I don't want to be called a woman. You cannot go against biology. You're either a man or you're a woman. Simple. No arguments. Simple. When you got people that are talking about religion and yet are willing to behead people to protect their religion, I call people out. You know, these Muslim people that walk around and all that, and say, you know, the ISIS and all these people who say that they believe in this radical God and crazy religions and stuff and all that. They don't drink, but they behead people. Get some beer and a lager into you, boys. Might mellow you out. Put some good music on. Have a joint or two. Take yourself a little bit less seriously, and you might stop fucking beheading people right away around the world and killing people for no reason at all, other than to force them into doing what you're doing, which is what these governments are doing. The last couple of weeks in Britain have really, everything has just come to an end for me. It's just really proven how bad things are and how bad things are going to get when we've got a corrupted government. And believe me, nobody can deny they're corrupt. Boris Johnson, who is a puppet working for someone much higher up, who's pulling the strings, is 100% getting away with murder. His own government is turning against him, you might think, but he's still doing what he's doing. Labour Party are just now an extension of his prick. Labour Party now is more or less conservative. For the first time in my lifetime, a working class, only poor person living in this country has no protection against these bad people, has no protection. Working class people have got nobody to stick up for them. The great people like John Smith, who would have been the greatest Prime Minister, and unfortunately had a heart attack and died just after he got into power for Labour before the fucking clown Tony Blair got in. This guy was amazing. Neil Kinnock, a fellow Welshman, had the right ideas, the right attitude, but no government in this country want to see a Welshman, an Irishman, a Scottish man get into power and become a Prime Minister. This is why they quickly got rid of Gordon Brown. It's only got to be English. It's only got to be English Prime Minister. They won't have anybody else, trust me on that. As far as Britain goes, Britain is divided into many, many sections. You've got Scotland wanting to leave, and I can't blame them, to be perfectly honest. Unfortunately for little Wales, that's going to put us right under the thumb more than ever with the great London gangsters called politicians. These people are basically going to destroy Wales. They've already done it anyway, all bar the name. You've got Ireland just want to do its own thing. They split into half because you've got half in Europe, half out of Europe. United Kingdom, we are definitely not. And then, of course, you've got London. London is his own state. The government, if nobody had understood it by now, if nobody have woken up to this by now, then clearly they don't. You know, I got a couple of brain cells that still working. These people haven't got no fucking brain cells. This is a government that only cares about two things, and one is the reputation of this country, which is we used to be these great fighters and we used to win all these wars, and we will chuck any amount of money when we got to side with good old America when they don't want to invade any other fucking country that doesn't go against what they want to portray as good versus bad. And it's coming at an heavy duty price. Britain is not great anymore, and it hasn't been for a long time. When you look at what have been achieved by Britain since it won the war, supposedly in World War II, which I don't believe we won World War II because, you know, good old Hitler sort of, he destroyed himself in the war, really. He took a lot of troops into Russia thinking that he could overpower them, and the terrain and the coldness pretty much ended that. So, you know, Hitler technically defeated himself. And, of course, in the tail end of it, sounded the horn, we need help. And in the last few minutes, good old United States of America, God bless America, and all the fucking sales with it. Oh, shit. They decided to come in and help. What have we achieved? Because I tell you what Germany have done. Germany have learned from its lessons. Germany put its heart and soul into training people up, getting people highly educated, highly trained in all the skill jobs that would come. And if you go to Germany now, you will see two things. One is that a lot of people are on good wages and get treated decently. Their attitude is totally the opposite of us. They believe that if people work hard, they should get paid well. Whereas this country thinks that you should work hard and get treated like shit and have nothing. That's Great Britain. Living wage, rubbish. Minimum wage, rubbish. Give it one hand, take out the other. Every time they skip, the minimum wage and the living wage goes up, council tax goes up, bus fare goes up, petrol goes up. Biggest bullshit in the world. And believe me, that I'll say another famous saying: you can't bullshit the bullshitter. and I can smell bullshit. I'm 2 miles away, let alone a mile away. And, you know, it's the famous thing, nobody learns from their mistakes. We vote this government in, they do some bad things, we vote Labour in, they do a lot of bad things, and so on and so on. The cycle doesn't change. An amazing man called Jesse the Body Ventura, being a WWE wrestling fan of old, who's an amazing man, Navy SEAL, wrestler, governor of California. This man said once that in America, as long as people only vote Democrats and Republicans, that nothing is ever going to change. Nothing's going to get better for the ordinary man. And this is the same in this country. As long as Labour and Conservatives are virtually the same. As long as you go then to the vote and we keep following the same thing, the same cycle, year in, year out, this country will never, ever get better. This country is absolutely honest. Pubs shutting down, clubs shutting down. This was without the virus. Now we've got the virus and we're now going to go into another lockdown because you've got the scientists saying, got to be careful, you shouldn't go there, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that. Then you've got the government saying, covering themselves by saying, well, we're not telling everybody to shut down, but you still should prioritise things. Well, what if my priority is I got 6 parties to go to and I find all of them a priority? I'm going to go to them fucking parties then. But the government don't want to say we're shutting everything down because then they've got to put this package into place and start paying out money to people. I don't know much. Like I said, I'm not a clever person. I'm not intelligent by any stretch of imagination. I've just got what I see in front of me and what I tend to believe. But I will say this, I pray to God that there are lots of industries and there are lots of people behind the scenes that have got lawyers involved that are going to sue the arse off this government in the next 18 months, 2 years when they get a chance. Because as far as I'm concerned, for a company to be told to shut down legally, no matter what, over a virus that have killed 150,000 to 160,000 people, if you believe the facts and figures, because we all know that there's been a lot of shady things going on in the good old NHS that people clap for. Corruption is everywhere. I never clapped for the NHS. 160,000 people walked into them hospitals, and 160,000 people didn't come out. Save the NHS. I say British fucking people. And if people take offence to that, well, fuck it. I don't care. I really do not care because they are the facts. You got this idiot now on the news yesterday, the scientists saying, everything got to be locked down. This virus is worse than any other virus we've ever had and all that. Scaring people. The mental health issues and the people that are suffering or have suffered with cancer, that have lost appointments, Parkinson's, all these different diseases, AIDS and whatever else. These people are going to die and they're not even going to get a mention. And families of people that are lost, elderly people, being a former carer who was in the thick of it this time, well, not this time last year, but right the way up until August last year, we've seen girls walking around using PPE and cross-contamination because they didn't have enough PPE and was told to use the same PPE on different people in different rooms. This all happened. And elderly people, poor elderly people, we have totally all the respect for, who were taken out of hospitals, pushed out of hospitals because they needed the beds, and put straight into a care home. And this government said that, they were unsure that it was going to spread right away through all these homes. Didn't give a fuck. Expendable. Collateral damage. Shrapnel. You only got to look in history books and it will tell you that the super elite, the famous people up there that think that they want to rule the world whatever the way it suits them so that they can keep their billions and trillions in their bank accounts, they will keep doing this till the end of time. Remember 2 things that's very famous. One is the golden rule. Who has the gold as the rules, and there's only 2 things in life and certain, and that's death and taxes. Famous sayings, and they're true. Ordinary people will always get shafted. Fairer society. If this government was to say that we were going to have a fairer society, we'd be all fucking multi-millionaires all living in mansions. If anybody super rich running a factory or running a business can have someone like me who's not clever, who makes mistakes, and first one to be open about it, who is first one to talk about the problems they got. I got ADHD, I make mistakes, I don't even know where my next job is going to be because I've got so many issues that I'll make mistakes and I'll get a sack. But I got no problem, I'll keep trying. But am I going to earn £700-800 a week? If somebody is going to be sat in the office looking down at me thinking, well, he hasn't got no qualifications, he's not very clever, he's got a lot of mental health issues, he's got learning difficulties, why the fuck am I going to pay them £700? So there ain't going to be no fairer system for me. Any hope I had of having a fairer system or having a fairer society went out the window the minute I left school back in May 1989. So it's bullshit. But you either believe it or not. When hope and believing that things will get better suddenly doesn't work anymore, where does that leave you? I tell you where it leaves me, in a void where I'm looking around me and I just don't know what to do for the best. But I'm one of many who are doing their best and are getting shafted by this government and by the higher up people every single day. And these people have the cheek to put people in lockdowns, to destroy industries, to destroy jobs. And isn't it a coincidence how one industry alone seems to suffer the most? And that is the only thing that poor ordinary people like myself believe in, and that is to work hard every week and have enough money in my pocket to either go on a nice little holiday or a inclusive shitty holiday for £1,000, or inclusive to Turkey or to Bulgaria or to France or wherever. They want to destroy that. They want to take away that for the ordinary people. We don't deserve that. You know, we should be lucky we're getting fed. And pubs and clubs and restaurants that only people can get together and have a $9.99 burger and chips meal in Wetherspoons. I mean, Wetherspoons have been fighting before this pandemic to have a tax break so they can keep the prices of drinks down to a reasonable price. So people like me occasionally can have a beer and a pint and a breakfast, cooked breakfast, or have a nice meal and a couple of drinks with my friends. No. The government don't want to be doing that. So this virus is a cover-up for something much, much bigger. I always say every time a crisis like this happens, there's something much more bigger going behind the scenes. And if you think what is happening now is going to change your lives, not for the better, for the worse, believe me, what's to come down the line. And I think next year is going to be a very, very strange year. Because more and more people are turning against what they're seeing now. A lot more people are believing that what's going on is suspicious, is wrong. You've got rioting in Australia, you've got rioting in Austria, you've got rioting in Germany now, you've got rioting in France. A lot of people don't like French people for whatever different reasons. And I tell you one thing I appreciate about France and French people is they're not happy. If working class people are not happy, they'll take to the streets. They'll fight. Something that we don't have much for in Britain these days. And the amount of people that go up on a regular basis and fight for their rights and protest in London, unfortunately in a minority, and a fantastic people deserve all the credit going. And yet London News, London Radio and Talk Radio say these people are bad people. They're anti-vax people. I went for a vax yesterday. Unfortunately, I never had one. They didn't have a vax there, so I had to have an Henry. I was not happy about that. I'm not a big fan of an Henry. It's not much of a good cleaner. And as for the jab, well, you know, I'm not much of a boxer. I've got a big fight on tomorrow. Maybe they want to go there and get a fucking jab there. and get knocked out. They go on about conspiracists, but I say this, if you look at what conspiracists were predicting back 2 years ago, including the likes of David Icke and the great man Coleman, the old man in the chair, who sits here calmly and tells you everything is coming on. These not Nostradamus. They're fucking mind readers. But they see what's in front of them because they know what is going on behind the scenes. They know what these people are doing, why they're doing it. They predicted all these different things, including moneyless, which will be here within the next 2 years. We won't be. And you think about the repercussions from going moneyless. People think, oh, well, that's good. What if you want to get somebody who you don't want to pay a lot of money for somebody professional to come and tidy up your garden, and you don't got a lot of money? Are you going to be paid for a friend or a close friend to come in your garden and work on the quiet? Are you going to pay them when you go moneyless? Because you're going to have a trace on him. The drug addicts and drug dealers, how are they going to do a drug deal? Where they're going to have a paper trail? Where they're going to have to pay on your account? Can you imagine drug dealers going around like they're doing buses and all that with these things to put their... I can't see that happening. So moneyless is fantastic for those do-gooders, those, what do you call them, woke people? Well, I think it's about time now these woke people fucking woke up and realise what's going on, because the famous saying that everybody uses around the world is be careful what you wish for. Well, be careful what you wish for, because all this is going to set a turn on us, and turn on us in a way that you would never see. This is an evil that nobody have ever seen, and this has been building up, and this has been planned for a long time, and a hell of a long time. Pub shut in, shop shut in, like I said. What is going to be left? What are we going to be left? The greater good, save the NHS. With all the money we owe already, another 18 months of this, what is going to be left of Great Britain? A fucking wasteland is what we're going to be left with. An absolute wasteland. You will see them films set in the future that come out in the 80s, and you see these men walking around like victims, looking like me pretty much, with the masks on and stuff and that. You're going to see that. You're going to see people coming out of the shadows. Don't worry about these pedophiles and these weird people that we hate and despise because they're evil people. These kind of people you're going to see in the next 50 to 100 years are going to be fucking far worse than any of them. They'll probably limb from limb. We are already a divided country. People like myself who are not the vax, well, I'm evil, I'm bad, I'm unintelligent, I'm not clever, I don't know nothing. We've got to make these people understand. We've got to educate these people. Yeah. Good luck on that. Because we're the ones that think we're in the right. We are fighting for not our future. We are fighting for a future. And I can assure you on this, I'm not afraid of dying. I'm more afraid of living than I am dying. But I can tell you one thing now. If the future, I think, is coming in the next 5 to 10 years, I'd be happy to fucking leave this world tomorrow, because I am absolutely ashamed to be a human right now. I'm definitely ashamed to be British. I fucking hate Great Britain now, as it is. People queuing up like lemons, like sheep fucking Monday to get vaxxed, to get double jabbed, to get third jabbed, to have their booster. I had a boost the other day. It was fucking lovely. Not as nice as stickers, though. I got to be honest. Not enough nuts in it. And I think they got peanut butter and boost. I'm queuing up because the scientists who don't know shit, I've told them that this is going to double every day. Well, if it's going to double every day, by the end of the week, we've got the whole fucking world in chaos. Not that many people have died in Africa, where it comes from. The Spanish flu came out 100 years ago, and they dealt with that better, and they didn't have the technology then that they did here. Even a lot of people died. Also, the Spanish flu didn't come from Spain. It came from United States of America. Look at the evidence. Look at the history books. The Spanish flu was not from Spain. The Spanish flu came from the United States of America. God bless America and everything that's in it. Yeah, purple mountains and all that fucking bullshit. This is a power struggle. This is a power grab. This is everything. And more people are seeing it for what it is. But we could shut our eyes and pretend that the worst is not happening and hope it goes away like some sort of boogeyman. Ain't going away, folks. It's not going away. Over the next few months, you're going to see who I am, who I really am. My personality, I'm hoping, is going to come through on this. I don't care if one person sees this, even if no people. If I'm talking to a brick wall, I'm talking to myself, well, that's nothing new. I got no issues with that. But I'm going to try and put a spin on things. I'm also going to be an unofficial representative of YouTube. Because YouTube, in my books and Netflix, I think, entertainment-wise, is two of the best things that have come out of this crazy world we live in the last 30 years. I was sat watching YouTube last night, and I was watching the Shart, the guy that goes around pretending to fart, and just a noise and the reaction of young girls and boys and elderly people walking past had me doubled up in hysterics. And I just thought, if YouTube wasn't around, we wouldn't be able to have people doing this and making us in hysterics. Colt, Clark, and the quarantine kids. The greatest thing to come out of this pandemic, a family of very, very talented kids, and probably the brightest, smartest young little girl that as soon as I see the videos that they come out with and the songs, being a massive music fan, music is my religion, it's my life. Seeing the songs that this family have picked during this quarantine and during this whole pandemic, the songs that they have picked and how they've gone about doing this, I just think is mesmerizing. It blows me away. And if anybody haven't seen Colt Clark and the Quarantine Kids, and you haven't seen a special little 5-6-year-old kid or how old she is, put them on, type in Colt Clark and put them on, and they've got over 300 songs now, and they're all classic songs. They are fantastic. And watch this kid, and if this kid cannot put the happiest smile on your face that you will ever have, then you need to check your temperature, you need to check your pulse, because you're not fucking living. You're a zombie. So I am going to be, over the time that I'm around, I'm going to be scrolling through different things, and I'm going to come up with often some YouTube blogs or whatever they fucking call them, because I'm not up for this technology nonsense. And I will say, look at this, this is good, this is great. All the films it's about, all the entertainment. So it ain't just going to be about politics. I'm not a politician. I'm just a concerned person who's seeing politics destroy this world. So my question today is, what's going to be left after all this? What's going to be left? All this, because what I believe is building up, because what we always have when something serious like this happens is we're going to go to war. We're going to have the next big war, and they'll kill X amount of millions or billions of people off, fraction of 10% of the world, 40% of the world, wherever. And then they'll rebuild and reset again, because that's all wars are. It's a reset button. Kill X amount of people and then start again. Cycle, vicious circle. The cycle keeps changing and it doesn't improve. We think it's improving. For technology, we think everything is getting better. It's not. The pubs, clubs, bars, restaurants, planes have got to close down, flights have got to be cancelled, where people can no longer enjoy themselves. And we are having people like BBC and Sky News put the fear of God into us. What have we got left? NHS. I got no time for these people, I'm sorry. Do a great thing, yeah, for those that are honest, that work in the NHS. God bless you. There's a lot of corruption in the NHS, and the facts and the figures are lies. 150, 60,000, I don't believe for a second, of my opinion, of course, of they'd be mixed in with other figures and all sorts. I'm hoping that when the inquiry starts next year, that this will be looked into, and I'm hoping it won't be a whitewash that'll suit the government right down to a T. Scaring people is frightening what they're doing. It's the cost. What is the cost going to be? I mean, the long-term damage, mental health is more the problem to this world than any virus could ever be. Where people can no longer function the way normal people function anymore. It's only going to be bad news for the world in general. And for 95% of us, all we want to do is just go about our normal lives and do our best and try and put a little mark on this planet. Whereas there's a few percentage of people in this world that just want to rule the world to suit their weird minds and their sick minds, order their expensive pizzas and abuse people and treat people badly. I have yet to see anybody have any kind of power that haven't abused it. And I'm a follower, not a leader, because I don't like people who lead. They tend to use their power. I've experienced it working in care. I had to fight a certain care or local care home off where I live because I stuck up for myself. I put a target, but I'm proud. I'll fight the system. Doesn't matter whether I'm out of shape, doesn't matter whether anybody think I'm thick as two planks, it don't bother me. I am a proud person. The little things that I have done in life, I have fought the system. I am one. I've lost a lot of battles in my life, but at least I'm trying. All most of us want to do is just live our lives, be happy. I always believe it's got a balance. You've got to go through bad times. Do appreciate the good times. And I've had a lot of good times, as many as I've had a lot of bad times. But when 18 months go down the road, when 2 years go down the road, 3 years go down the road, and everything is driving people to misery, something's got to change. Life should never be this hard. And you've got to take a step back and you've got to look at why it's going on. Why is it done? Where's the end game of all this? Luckily enough, these so-called elite people, they're that fucking arrogant that the things that they do in this world, the bad things that they do, that they tell us are good, but we all know are bad deep down, it backfires on them. So it'll end in tears eventually. So for all this chaos now, you've got the government have been hammered in the local election. Boris is going to continue doing what he's doing, no matter who threatens him. You think he's whiter than white. I mean, he is cleaner than my arse. This guy is a fucking nut job on a massive scale. And he ain't stupid. He's a clever man. He knows what he's doing. He knows what he's doing. It's frightening. What is this world coming to? What is this world coming to? I'm a person, I'll tell you what kind of person I am. I'm a person, if everybody else is happy, I'm happy. I was lucky, very lucky 2 years ago. I went to a couple of festivals. I worked in security. I worked in Glastonbury. I worked for Metallica 2 years ago. I worked for the Spice Girls. And I was in an environment where everybody was enjoying themselves. And I had an out-of-body experience at them events because everybody was so happy. Why is it these fucking super elite who are never happy because they're so paranoid because they don't want to lose all their money in their banks and they see the poor people as a threat to them? All we want is a little bit of happiness in life. To treat people decently. Christmas is supposed to be a time of reflection and looking after each other and putting a bit of smile on your face, decorating your lovely windows and all that always puts a smile on my face. I think it's an idea that have come from America and Britain have embraced it. And I love seeing people's windows decorated. Only time of the year, doesn't matter how false people are. If they say good day to you, or say have a nice day, or say have a nice Christmas. Doesn't matter whether they're false or whether they mean it or not. It's just the fact that they're saying it should mean something. You know, Christmas is a time where everybody comes together, your friends, your family. I know we got a government and a fucking bunch of scientists telling us that, things about everybody, thousands of people are going to die, millions of people are going to die. Have we seen anybody yet keel over in the middle of a town centre or a road and die of this virus? They only dying in care homes and the NHS. National Health Service. Or is it National Horrified Service? Something needs to be done about all this shit and needs to be done fast. It's a fucked up world, and these people that are running the show and are doing all this, they're fucked up in the ends. I'm an only person. The three things that make me happy in this life: a beer, a good bit of music, and great company. I don't want to be a multi-millionaire. I don't give a shit about having a fucking house full of 100 rooms. Who the fuck? I can't live in 100 rooms. I'd be happy sleeping in a fucking 2-man tent. Well, I need 3-man tent because I'm well over the 20-stone mark at the moment. I look like fucking Mr. Blobby. It's Christmas time. Yeah, he's a fucking round there. Christmas, Mr. Blobby. Fucking nonsense. I don't want to be a multi-millionaire. These people are not happy. They all end up on drugs or fucking drink, and they pay a price for it. I'm the only person. I have never had more than £2,000 to my name ever in my lifetime. Somebody handed me £10,000, I'd be like being a millionaire to me because I wouldn't know what to fucking do with it. Winning the lottery. I've dreamt a few times about winning the lottery, but only to see the smile on my family and friends' faces when I all dish out their share of what I've won. I couldn't give two shits. Being good and being friendly to people creates your memories and creates a beautiful atmosphere. I seen the atmosphere that Glastonbury and more music, the power of music does to people 2 years ago. And I was in awe of it all. And I thought, this is as close as heaven as I'm going to get to. 270,000 people having a time of their lives, no matter what they were taking. If they were all drugged up, they were all drugged up, and there was fucking more drugs floating around there than there's a fucking brown boots. And they were all on the drink, and they were having a time of their lives, and they didn't give a shit what fools they made of themselves. It was a weekend that they were having that they all needed. And by God, we all need a blowout from time to time. This government cannot be trusted. They do one thing and then do the opposite, and this man is just going to steamroll over everybody. He is not going to change. He's going to continue what he is doing until somebody looks at this country and say, he's done too much damage now, something's got to give. Next year is going to be a massive year for all of us. And I believe there's going to be a lot of civil unrest right the way around the world. And I think this is where we're heading. We're building up to another big world war. And we're overdue for one. Says the Illuminati, the elite, or whatever conspiracy you want to believe in. These people are deadly. They're dangerous. Something's got to be done. When you were told no longer to smile, but to walk around living in fear, and you can't sit down with your friends around Christmas, can't sit in a pub and watch a band, can't turn a fucking jukebox up because they're afraid you're going to spread the virus by singing your favourite songs, and you can't sing your favourite Cliff Richard songs at fucking Christmas and Slade going, "It's Christmas!" every fucking year since they come out with it in 1972. Well, I think it's time for us all to go, maybe. Because if this is the future, they can shove it up their arseholes sideways, as The Rock would say. I really fear for people. There's a famous saying, and it's a lovely famous saying, but it's not used enough, and that is, the truth shall set you free. I'm free. I'm free. Wise up, people. I'm going to try and do another one or two of these now before the end of the weekend and see what shit to come out with next. Or we all know we're living in a country now that freedom of speech is all bar gone out. If you're a racist, you can get done for it. It's an hate crime now. You can't have an opinion about anything, even if it's wrong. I believe no matter whether you're right or wrong about anything, you're entitled to your opinion. That's the country we are now disappearing. Unfortunately for legendary comedians like Jimmy Carr, Alan Carr, the legend that is Roy Chubby Brown, Jim Davison, an amazing character that nobody on the telly gave any respect to when he sadly passed away the night before. The amazing comedian from one of the best comedians in the world ever, from Cornwall, Jeffro. You won't see these comedians in 5 years' time because you won't be able to fucking laugh, yet alone laugh at the joke. I've told racist jokes. Do I believe that makes me racist? No, I don't. Because if it makes somebody laugh, then as far as I'm concerned, that's far more better than offending somebody. If we live in today in a world where you can't say this, you can't say that, then what's the fucking point? You know, we just well be robots because we got no feelings. We're losing our feelings. Jesus Christ, can't people just get along? Because we definitely have a failure to communicate now. You know, it's okay. It's okay for two fucking nutcases to behead a local soldier in the middle of London a few years ago, but local councillors want to ban fucking Chubby Brown because he's offensive. After all the years of him being a comedian, the biggest selling comedian in this country, by the way. Sold more DVDs than fucking Tom Cruise. They're all legends. They're people that speak their opinion, whether it's right or wrong, and they put a smile on people's faces as they do it. They're amazing people. They're the people that keep me going. Music and entertainment, which is what this country is destroying, is fading fast. Singers were predicting stuff like this back 30, 40 years ago. Amazing artist and legend. I wouldn't say underrated because people deep down knew how good he was. The legendary Frank Zappa was fighting against freedom of speech and freedom to express yourself back in the 60s, 70s and 80s. Sadly, he's gone passed away now, but his memory's still there. And I think back to classic tunes like the Specials' Ghost Town. All the clubs have been closed down. Yeah, they fucking are now. Paul Weller, classic song, one of my favourite 80s songs. Walls come tumbling down. Let's go up, walls come tumbling down. Public Enemy's number 10. 10 Downing Street. The best one of all, John Lennon. One of the greatest, if not the greatest songwriter of all time. Working Class Hero. Have a listen to that song, Working Class Hero. It's something to be. Blows me away, that song does. Tells you exactly where we really are. We're all told lies. We go to school and we're told we got to succeed. When 98% of us fail. But we never talk about failing in school. And that you learn from failing. No, you've got to succeed. You've got to succeed. Work hard and you will achieve anything. I worked hard. And I know at the fucking work suffering with mental health. And up to my eyeballs in debt. And I'm about to fucking declare myself bankrupt. 32 years of struggling. That's where working hard on me. So I've taken a break right out of all that and just sitting on the side watching all this shit go down. And I can tell you what now, I'm having fun because I'm thinking, well, yeah, the famous two sayings again. Be careful what you wish for. And I'm looking around me and I'm thinking, maybe we deserve this crap. Because if you're willing to turn a blind eye to all this shit, then you deserve what you get. Somebody's got to wake up And there are people out there, the amazing people, David Icke, all these great people, Rents. Are they telling lies? Are these conspiracists telling lies? Have a look at what they were predicting this time last year to where we are now. No, not this time last year, 2 years ago. And tell us where we are now. And you tell me, are they lying? Lockdown number 5 is coming. Here's my prediction for next year. A lot of civil unrest. A lot of people wising up, hopefully. Another lockdown after lockdown. They'll lift the restrictions just in time for God Save the Queen's Platinum Jubilee. They'll make sure that everything is open up for our weekend so we can all celebrate. Even though most of us have gone on a job by then, and we'll have enough for a fucking few cans there. We want a pint of beer in a pub, that there won't be no pubs open anyway. And then we'll go for the next lockdown and the next lockdown. It's going to be the same again next year. Same shit, different day. Suicide rates are going to go sky high. More people cancer. Mental health it's already skyrocketing. I can't see how it can get worse than what it is. That's the epidemic. That's a pandemic now. Mental health. What crazy world we live in. So I'm going to be talking a bit more. Hopefully I'm going to put in a bit of a comedy spin on things. Like I said, I'm going to be talking about a few films I've recently watched. And I'm a bit of an emotional wreck at the moment. Years ago, I would never, ever watch them. Lovely romantic Christmas films. And now I'm hooked on romantic Christmas films. And I've seen quite a few over the last few weeks. And I've been in tears watching them. Young man, young lady. He's handsome. She's absolutely beyond crazy beautiful, I'd call them. Where they you just jaw-droppingly beautiful. And they have a row, they have a bust up, they prove that they're not connected and they shouldn't be together and they end up falling in love. These films are fantastic. So next week I'll give a list of some of them films and some of the great films I've seen recently and some of the great programs that I've caught up after working 14 years nights in a care industry. They don't give a shit, they don't care. And I will tell you about some of the amazing programs. I mean, I was one of the last finally to get around to seeing every single episode of Game of Thrones back early this year. And I can honestly say, and on that, I do not think that there will be a program that will top this ever. The greatest program ever on telly. It's on a different level than any other program I've ever seen, and I've seen some good ones. I'm also looking forward to the up-and-coming 4th series of the fantastic Red Horse series, Cobra Kai. What an amazing series that program is. I'm currently in the middle of watching series 2, catching up, of Breaking Bad, which is fantastic, and also in the middle of watching series 2 of The Walking Dead. And as I'm talking about The Walking Dead, another 5-10 years of this shit, and that's exactly where we're going to be. I'm a big dance fan, love dance music, and one of the songs that I keep thinking of every time you see this shit goes on day by day is Zombie Nation. That's where we're heading. So my name's Di Parsons. Take care, and I will see you very, very shortly. Watch out for some more videos. Take care.